Hey everybody, it's John King, and here I am with a special unplanned live stream on what just happened today. Big news for anybody on the wait list waiting for Dream for All vouchers. Today was a very important day. It's the day that I have been waiting the last 90 days for, and you should have been waiting that time as well. What happened today? What happened today is the people who let their vouchers expire as of last Thursday, their vouchers were reissued today. So let me backtrack to the beginning and walk you through what happened, and then we're going to share some information about what we all know to help each other get better data. So first and foremost, when the vouchers were originally issued at the end of June, there was a 90-day window to use those vouchers, and that meant that they had to be used by last Thursday, the 25th. I believe it was the 25th. So you had to have used your voucher by Thursday, the 25th. If you didn't use it, maybe that was the 26th. Yeah, anyway, by Thursday of last week, you had to use your voucher. If you hadn't used your voucher by Thursday of last week, then your voucher was lost. Now, we learned a month ago that CalHFA allowed a lot of everybody, basically, was allowed to extend their voucher an extra 90 days. That was a big wild card for all of you who are waiting for vouchers on the wait list because it meant people who had been searching. I've got probably a dozen clients right now who have been searching and haven't been able to find a home, and they all extended their voucher beyond the original 90 days. So all of them got extra time beyond last Thursday. And so there was a big question mark about, were we going to see more vouchers issued, or did everybody who didn't use their voucher get an extension? Because that would be very disheartening. Now, I have really good news, which is we found out as of around 2 o'clock today, my client started seeing that their wait list number changed. A lot of them changed from being on the wait list to being selected. And then I had a few people reach out saying, John, it says I'm selected, but what does that mean? Because I don't have a voucher. As of 3 o'clock today, the vouchers were issued. So I have information on 2 of the 9 regions, and I need your help getting information on the rest of the regions. So let me share with you what I've got. If any of you guys are on the wait list, I need to know what county you're in, what your original wait list number was, and what your current wait list number is, because that's going to help me figure out what progress we made in every county. So right now, the only 2 counties or regions that I know numbers on are the, by the way, if you are on the wait list, please comment right now in comments telling me what county you're in, what your original waitlist number was, and what your current waitlist number is. Or if you got off the waitlist and you got a voucher, we can celebrate with you, but I still want to know what your original number was and what county that you're in. So we know that in the Inland Empire, which is Imperial, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties, I've estimated 187 total winners. Now that's if everybody used the full $150,000. Excuse me, a little bit of water, hold on. So if everybody used their full $150,000, I ballparked 187 total winners. Now, I've gotten information from one person in the Inland Empire that said they were number 70 originally on the wait list. As of Friday, they went down to number 16. And as of today, they got a voucher. Now, that tells me at least 16 people got vouchers today. Now, if you were number 75 and you got a voucher, then I know that even more than that got vouchers. So I need your help in telling me who got vouchers. But let me explain to you what this says. This says that 37% of the people who were issued vouchers didn't use them. Now, some of them didn't use them because on the day they got the voucher, they realized, oh my gosh, I forgot about that thing. And I relocated to Texas. I don't want to use this. I can't because I'm not buying in California. And so there are people who gave up their voucher immediately. Then there are people who over the next 30, 60, 90 days tried to get qualified. All right, here we go. We got Layla saying, and started in Sacramento at number 90, and right now she's at 44. So let's update the capital region. So Layla gets to fill that in. So original spot number 90. Layla, do you know what you were on Friday? I'd love to see how many were issued today. But either way, we saw 44. Why is my math not working? What is this? Oops, that was supposed to be. I used the wrong formula. Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I don't know how many were issued today, so that's not really good math. But the bottom line is we did have 46 people in Sacramento region. Layla, that is really good news. Again, I don't feel bad for those 46 people, but my count said 102 people. 102 people were issued vouchers in the capital region, and that of those 102, 46 of them were not able to use their voucher. So that is a really high percentage. I've got Salvatore telling me in Fresno. So Fresno is Central Valley. Your original spot was 491. If you know what you were on Friday, that would be great. But right now we are 390. So we had 101 people in the Central Valley that, now, by the way, some of these might be, a lot of them, a fair percentage of them, are additional vouchers that were provided because maybe you had 3 people that used their voucher, but they each only used $100,000. Let me talk you through this math. Layla says she thinks she was 49. So Layla, all right, so she thinks 49, which tells me that we had maybe 5 vouchers issued today in Sacramento. But let me explain to you what some of these numbers are. So in Fresno, big number in the Central Valley. It says, hey, I think there were 170 vouchers issued originally. So let me highlight this one. And of those 170, every time we had 3 people who bought $500,000 homes or less. That means each one of those people only got $100,000. So they were allocated 150 grand. They only used 100, 100, and 100, which means the extra 50 from all 3 of them got mashed back together into one brand new voucher. So it's kind of like cutting out the Christmas cookies, and you got the dough and you spread it out and you cut out 3 cookies and then you ball it all back up together again and you spread it out to create 1 or 2 more cookies. So same concept is happening here, but that's a huge number. That's also going to continue happening for the people who have vouchers right now. So this is very useful information, especially, I see the Bay Area. Let's see. Bay Area, let's update that one. Bay Area was 106 to start with. Friday was 45. And now number 6. Oh my God, that's amazing. All right, number 6. That is really, really good news. All right. So we went down by 100 people in the Bay Area. Again, the 100 in the Bay Area is interesting because the Bay Area is 21% of the state's population. So that means that you had 350 estimated vouchers that were given out. And of those 350, we had 100 of them the 100 new vouchers issued. They could be replacement vouchers for people who canceled. They could have been replacement vouchers for people who today or on Thursday expired and didn't ask for the extension, or they could be replacement vouchers that were put together because other people didn't use all the money. Now in the Bay Area, most people are using all the money. Most of the transactions I'm doing in the Bay Area are 600, 750, 900, $1.2 million. My largest one this year was in the Bay Area at $1.3 million purchase price. So I expect the Bay Area to have less cookie dough left over because each of the people are taking a majority of their money allocated to them. But here's the great news. The great news to me, and Zikun, as you mentioned, any chance you can get it this time, I think you have a great chance. I think you have a really, really good chance. Because here's what's going to happen. We had 100 people in the last 90 days that got vouchers. Some of those people just got them recently. Now we know that, or at least based on what you're telling me, that you went, hold on, did you go from 45 to number 6? Yeah, so we had 39 vouchers issued in the Bay Area today. Today, we had 39 vouchers issued in the Bay Area today. Of those 39 people, we can expect another 29% of them to fall out. And a whole bunch of people extended their vouchers. They have 90 extra days. But the sad truth is they weren't successful in their first 90 days. A lot of them are searching for a unicorn. They're searching for the perfect home and the perfect situation, and they're not going to find it. And so a lot of those people that extended their voucher by December 31st or right about December 31st, they're going to lose their voucher. We're going to have a bigger percentage of fallout, in my opinion, at the end of December, because there's a lot of people who are hanging on, trying to find a way to qualify, trying to find a way to improve their credit score, trying to find a way to bump their income or lower their income because they make too much money. So this is good news, because I was counting on or estimating about 50% of the vouchers issued that would roll over or go to somebody else. And I thought that's a crazy high percentage. So when I say counting on that, I was running, if you watched any of my original waitlist videos, I was projecting that best case scenario, we were going to see 50% fallout. Well, we're seeing right now close to 50% fallout. And that's with the wild card of people being able to get extensions. And I'm telling you, I got my original clients and I think I funded 15 of these, and I probably have another 15 people that are out shopping right now. And I've got a couple people that have already called me today saying they got a voucher and they want to get the process started with me. But the bottom line is, about half of the people that I have worked with over the last 90 days successfully utilized their voucher. The other half, all of them extended their voucher. Now, of those people that extended their voucher, probably half of them will successfully close escrow, but the rest are going to roll over onto the wait list. So Zikun, if you're talking about in the Bay Area and you've fallen from number 106 down to number 6, that is really, really good news. This is super promising. Now we're going to know better on December 30th or 31st or whatever date it is that we're looking at for the next 90-day window, because then you've got the first group of people that were issued vouchers that have been clawing and kicking and screaming and trying to find any way they possibly can to use their voucher. And some of them, their credit isn't where it needs to be. Some of them, their income, they lost a job and they're looking for another job. Lots of things that have created issues for people. And those people are holding on. They got an extension hoping they can have more time. And a good percentage of those people are not going to have their voucher at the end of December. So the question becomes, do you pull the trigger on doing something else, or do you keep waiting on the wait list? Here's what I'll tell you. By the way, I don't have a whole lot more to cover. If you have any more counties, if you're not on this live stream, please message me, email me. My email is in the link down below. Also in the message in the description down below, you can get the link to schedule a call with me. If you're moving up on the wait list, you want to schedule a call with me. I actually have a client who got their voucher today. We've been in escrow for 3.5 weeks. They were in Los Angeles County. I'm super, super interested to see what happened in Los Angeles County. So if anybody is on the wait list in LA County, please, please, please tell me, because right now I've got no data on LA County, except for my one client who was number 30 on the wait list as of the beginning of September, and then fell, and then fell, and then fell. And as of last Monday, he was number 1. No movement since last Monday. Today, he got his voucher. Now, that doesn't mean that only one person got their voucher in LA. I think a lot of people probably got vouchers in LA. But he's been in contract for 3 weeks. We took a bit of a calculated risk. We wrote a 45-day escrow, and we did everything. We got the appraisal done. They've negotiated repairs. We've got the file through underwriting. And literally, we got his voucher this afternoon. Tomorrow, we're locking in his interest rate. Wednesday, we're shipping the file off to Calhafa. He'll have his keys by the end of next week because we took a calculated risk. His worst case scenario is he wasted money on an appraisal and he wasted money on some inspections and he backs out of the transaction because we got an extended escrow. But this was actually a home in his childhood neighborhood, and it was a perfect house for him, and he didn't want to miss out. And we had a cooperative listing agent. We had a great buyer's agent, and you had a great lender. And all of us working together, the communication that we had throughout the process made the difference where we could preemptively write an offer. Even when he was number 22, I think, on the wait list, and we wrote an offer because we were calculating what the numbers looked like. We knew that the first group of vouchers were going to expire at the end of the month, and we had a pretty good feeling. Even leading up to that, we were seeing the numbers drop pretty quickly. So you had people backing out. You had people canceling. You also had people who funded loans but didn't use 100% of their money. So those people, their money is going to get rolled over to somebody else. So real quick, if you have questions about anything related to Dream for All, anything related to mortgages, ask them now. I want to talk a little bit about the market relative to timing of when your voucher is going to come, if you just got a voucher or you're waiting to get a voucher, and I want to share with you what I think is going to happen. But once I talk about that, if there's nothing else or no other questions in the comments, then I'm going to let you guys get back to your evening. So here's what's going on. A lot of you are probably going to have to wait until January of next year because of the people who got their voucher at the end of June that extended at the end of September, and now they're going to have that extra 90 days to shop for their home. And I think we're in a bit of a challenging market right now. We're in a transitional market. It had previously been a market where interest rates were super high, housing prices were stable, and a lot of buyers were on the sidelines. We're now seeing interest rates start to come down. We're seeing in some markets, prices start to come up and more competition. In other markets, we're seeing buyers back up and say, nope, I'm waiting. I'm nervous about the economy. I'm nervous about interest rates. I don't want to buy too soon because then I'm going to be stuck with a high interest rate. But here's the deal. You want to be courageous when other people are scared. And when everybody else is courageous, you probably want to be a little bit scared. Warren Buffett coined that phrase, and I firmly believe in it. I believe that if you have the opportunity, now if you're number 6 on the wait list in the Bay Area and you are about ready to get your voucher, you are never, ever going to find a program that gives you a lower monthly payment than the Dream for All program, but it has the most expensive long-term cost. So you have to decide. Hopefully you've already run the evaluation. If you haven't, schedule a call with me down below and I'll run it with you to say, hey, what is more important, short-term or long-term? Short-term, Dream for All is the way to go. And when it comes to owning a home versus not owning a home, Dream for All is the way to go. But if you can afford the higher monthly payment, if you can afford to pay more per month right now, you're going to see significant long-term benefits because you're not having to share your appreciation with the state. And we are heading into a market where rates are going to go down and home prices are going to go up because we're going to see more demand, more people wanting to buy homes than we had in the last 2 years. And a lot of you are going to say, but John, there'll be more sellers, there'll be more supply because all the sellers who have 3% interest rates didn't want to sell and buy when rates were 7 or 8, but they'll be happy to sell and buy when rates are, in the 5s, maybe the 4s. You're right. But those sellers are also buyers 9 times out of 10. So it's not freeing up inventory. It's just creating a shell game where they're moving around because a seller has to be a buyer. And most people are not going to sell their home and be homeless. So they're going to list their home for sale, but they're going to make it contingent on finding a home for them to buy. So it didn't create any inventory. It created transactions. That's good for realtors. That's good for title companies. That's good for lenders. It's creating transactions. It's not creating inventory because when their house sells, they're buying something else. And that did not free up space for renters to become homeowners. The biggest challenge we have going forward is there aren't enough homes built for the number of people that want them. And so we are going to see, in my opinion, by the way, I'm predicting the future and nobody can do that, even me. So I don't know really what's going to happen, but I try and study my industry. We look at the patterns, just like your financial advisor can't tell you for sure what's going to happen with a particular stock tomorrow. They can tell you based upon their experience and their knowledge and what they study. And I do the same thing in the mortgage and real estate world. And so the simple answer I can give you is we're going to see a good amount of appreciation over the next few years. As interest rates come down, prices will keep going up. And so if you have the ability to buy without Dream for All, buy without Dream for All, because you're going to you're going to trade. It's an exchange. You're going to trade a large amount of equity down the road for a small amount of payment savings when you add it all up. But if it's the only way you can buy a home, by all means do it because 100% of nothing is nothing. If you're a renter, you get none of the equity. So I'd rather you get 80% of something than 100% of nothing. Okay, Zakun has a question. And once I answer his question, if there's no other questions, I'm going to let y'all go. By the way, QR code that's up above over there is the best way to get started. So if you want to start the application process with me, or if you want to download a mobile app that has a great payment calculator in it, that is a great place to start. All right. So he says, he or she, my apologies. I have a question. When I applied to the lottery, I only registered myself. Can I add my partner so that my loan amount can be higher but still under the income limit? Yes, you can. Great news. You can. You can add or delete people off of the loan. But what you cannot do is you cannot get rid of the person who is designated as the first generation homebuyer. Now, in your case, it was you and you want to add somebody else. The key is they have to be occupying the property, and they have to meet the definition of first-time homebuyer, and their income plus your income cannot exceed your county limits. As long as all three of those things are true, you are, and they have to have good enough credit. Their debt to income ratio has to make things better. So lending side of things, but specific to Dream for All, they have to be a first-time homebuyer. Now, what's the definition of a first-time homebuyer? You have not lived in a home owned by you or your spouse at any time in the last 3 years. So if you add your partner and your partner has lived in a home that they or their spouse owned in the last 3 years, you cannot add that partner. That's the first thing you have to have. The second thing you have to have is you have to make sure that you're underneath the income limits. And the third thing is they have to occupy the property with you. You cannot be a non-occupant cosigner. The opposite of that, good. So Zakun says all three requirements are met. That is fantastic. By the way, at number 6, if you've got a lender you love, stick with that lender. If you're not confident in your lender, or if they haven't given you the guidance that you've been getting from me, I am for sure interviewing for the job. So even if it is simply a conversation, use the link down below to schedule a Calendly, use Calendly and schedule a call with me just to talk through what I think and what advice I might have for you. During that conversation, it's my job to impress you enough that you are going to choose to use me, but you don't have to. You could use me for information and then you could bail on me, and that's okay. I want to be a resource for you, whether it is today or whether it's in the future. I want you to trust me and to trust my advice. So Zakun, if you are ready to move forward, you're number 6, you should be having a conversation with a lender that you trust. I am interviewing to be that lender. All right, now let me talk about the opposite of Zakun's situation, which is, what if you want to take somebody off of the loan? What if you had applied with 2 people and now you want to do it by yourself? What if you applied with 2 people and you're not with that person anymore and you want to switch to being on the loan with somebody else? That is A-okay, as long as the person being taken off was not the first generation homebuyer. Now you're going to say, wait, John, because we're both first generation homebuyers. Myself and the person that I was on the voucher with are both first generation. But in the voucher portal, when you applied for the lottery, you had to pick one of the 2 people as being the designated first generation homebuyer. Why? Because that's who the background check was done on. So the state hired private investigators. They did audits. They made sure that you weren't lying and that you really were a first generation homebuyer. And that's the person that has to stay on the loan. So if you're trying to say, well, no, I'm a first generation as well, and I picked the other person just because they're the ones that filled out the voucher portal, but I'm also first generation. Why can't I use the voucher? Because they're not going to do a new background check on you. They only did a background check on one person, and that one person has to stay as a person on the loan. And so if you're thinking of adding or deleting somebody and you're not sure how that applies, give me a call. Here's the other thing I will tell you. A lot of my clients, I'm going to wrap up with this. If you have more questions, guys, feel free to ask. I'm going to get rid of this. By the way, if you just joined, if you have information about the waitlist movement in your region, please email me. My email's down below. Post it on comments. Let me know what your county you're in, what your original waitlist number was. Hopefully, if you remember what your waitlist number was last Friday, but most importantly, what's your waitlist number today? Because that's going to give us a good idea of how the movement has been within your county. So here's the deal, guys. This is a really, really important opportunity to make a decision about home ownership and your game plan for the future. And you need to recognize timing is not going to be this good for long. I think that starting next spring, we're going to see a lot of buyers coming back into the market, and we're not going to see as many sellers selling. Right now, I think we have a crazy market because in a lot of regions, you have houses that are sitting and you have sellers that are getting nervous because they really just want to get it sold. And so you need to think about, how can I take advantage of this market? So if you got off of the wait list and got a voucher, you want to strike right away, I would love the opportunity to guide you and give you advice on that. If you're still on the wait list, but you're getting really, really close, I think you've waited this long, I think I'd probably continue waiting. But if you're further up the wait list, or you're unsure if the chances of you getting down to the bottom of the wait list are, then schedule a time to talk with me and look at alternative options. Because I think you're going to find a better price on the home and a better selection of homes right now. And you have the opportunity to do that without waiting until vouchers are issued down the next 3 or 4 months from now, when I think we're going to see more. By the way, I knew we were going to see a good number of vouchers issued this week. We're going to see another good number of vouchers issued right around January 1st. The question is, do you want to wait another 90 days? Is the market going to be better or worse for you in 90 days? Nobody knows. We're trying to predict the future, but you have to decide what's important to you. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. There's long-term and there's short-term implications, and you have to decide what is most important to you. But if you are really far up the wait list and you can afford the monthly payment, please at least sit down and talk to me about it. I'm not telling you that I'm going to convince you to buy a home. I want to explain to you your choice, because a lot of people think about home ownership as a great way to build wealth over the long run. And it is. It's one of the best ways to build wealth over the long run. And the Dream for All program gets you there, but it stops you short of the finish line. Stops you about 20% short of the finish line, because you've got to share that with your silent partner. It keeps you from getting the full amount of tax deduction that you would have gotten, because you're not paying interest on the full purchase price. So you're not getting as big of a tax write-off. So if you want to talk through what all these options look like, please give me a call. I want to help guide you in making the right decision. And I really appreciate all of you joining me tonight. So I don't see any other questions. So at this point, I'm going to let everybody go. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful evening. And please keep me updated as the wait list numbers continue to move. I want to know more about the rest of the counties. And I look forward to everybody talking to you soon. Again, I'm interviewing to take great care of you and to be your lender. Please reach out if you or anyone you know and love is looking to purchase a home, refinance a home, or just get advice about home ownership in general. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Bye-bye.